Okay, so let's start today's class. Before we start today's class, just want to remind you we have a quiz next Monday, right? So please prepare your quiz. Okay, so for chapter 4, last week we mentioned crossing the book, right? So crossing the book, remember when we do that before we move on to next? Anyone? Hyuna? Hyuna? Not here. Sonia. Yeah, Sonia. Remember when we crossing the book? Crossing the book, we've mentioned last week, right? That's the last step we need to do for the whole accounting cycle. 整个会计循环, this is the last thing we have to do. So usually when we do our last step, at the end of each year, right? So at the end of each year, we just do it once. So we don't do it quite often. We just do it once for each year. But it's not for what's our purpose? We need to do the last step, crossing the book. Anyone? Stephanie, not Stephanie. Daphne. Daphne. Yeah, to make some accounts become zero for next year, because some account we accumulate complete the numbers only for 1 year. So don't forget our purpose to make some accounts become zero for next year. So which account? We cross in the book for each account. Yes. Revenue, expenses, and dividends, okay? So remember, we do that only for temporary account, revenue, expenses, and dividends, okay? So that's how we cross in the book, and when, and why, and the target, okay? So we've done the first thing in chapter 4. We complete all accounting cycles. So here I want to tell you, if you still remember, we cross in the book, transfer revenue, expenses, dividends number directly to retained earnings, right? Okay, so this is how we do it last week. But here tell you from textbook, sometimes you have another option. What's the another option? Another option is we use new account, which is income summary, 损益汇总, on your slide 39. So you could use another way. This is the second option. It's like we transfer revenue, expenses to income summary, 损益汇总. Try to get the final number from revenue, expenses, then transfer the number to retained earnings. Okay, so that's for revenue, expenses. Dividends, the same as before, just transfer it to retained earnings directly. So this is another option, depends on you. You can use income summary to get revenue, expenses number first, then transfer it to retained earnings. Or you could choose the method we used last week. What's that? Just transfer revenue, expenses, dividend to retained earnings directly. So depends on you. It's okay. If you want to make it simple, maybe transfer it to retained earnings directly is more simple for you. Okay, so here just told you another option like this. So if you look at the note you have in chapter 4, on page 11. So on page 11 here, I show you the second option. So option 1 we've done already from last week. So from option 1 here told you without income summary 不使用损益汇总. What does that mean? It means we transfer revenue, expenses, dividends to retained earnings directly, right? So revenue transfer to retained earnings, expenses transfer to retained earnings, dividends transfer to retained earnings. Okay, so you transfer revenue, expenses, dividends to retained earnings directly. But here on page 11, here I show you option 2. So what does that mean, option 2? You could use income summary 损益汇总 this account. Okay, depends on you. So if you decide to use income summary this account, then you will transfer revenue to income summary first. You will transfer expenses to income summary first. After that, we got a net amount. What's that? Net amount 2,900 is revenue minus expenses. After that, we transfer it to retained earnings. So did you find out? Option 2, the second way, you could transfer revenue to income summary, expenses to income summary. After that, you will get the net amount, which is revenue minus expenses. Then you transfer it to retained earnings. Okay, so this is the difference, like this. So it will be revenue $10,600 minus your expenses. Okay. So either way, you could decide which way you prefer to, that you use that. Okay? Any questions? Okay. So this is another thing I want to mention. Then we've done already all the accounting cycles. So you can go to slide on 53. Slide on 53. This is the whole accounting cycle we have from chapter 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay? So what's the first step? Analyze transaction, right? So we analyze transactions. After that, we understand the effects, right? Then we need to record it on 2 accounting books, right? So generalize the transaction means we record it on first accounting book. Post to T account means we record it on second accounting books, right? Okay. So this is we have from chapter 1 and 2, right? So this is your first accounting books. Record on your second accounting book. So that's post to T account. This is your second accounting books. Okay? After that, don't forget, we need to do what? Double check. So prepare trial balance is our first time double check. So this is your first time double check. Prepare trial balance. Okay? After that, don't forget, we just done 90% transactions. So that's right. In chapter 3, we need to record the other 10% transactions, right? So how to record the other 10% transactions? Prepare adjusting entries, right? Okay. So next step is for the 10% transactions. So for 10% transactions, we need to use adjusting entry to prepare it, to record it. Okay? After that, don't forget, accounting, finance, all the numbers are money. So we should be very careful. So how? Double check again. So that's why prepare adjusted trial balance. This is our second time double check. Okay? After that, we got all the numbers 100% correct, right? So we got all the numbers 100% correct after you've done the second time double check. So you got the number is 100% correct from your adjusted trial balance. This is your 100% transactions. After that, we could use the number to do what? To prepare our only one accounting output, right? So what's that? 4 financial statements. So we could use that to prepare our 4 financial statements. Use that to prepare your 4 financial statements. The only one accounting output. Okay? So 10% transactions, adjusting entry, second time double check, prepare financial statement. That's from chapter 3, right? Also, that's your quiz for next Monday, right? So your 5, 6, and 7. That's from chapter 3. Okay? So after we've done our only one accounting output, then since we got our output already, that's why in chapter 4 we need to do the last step. What's the last step? After you've done everything, you close in your book. So that's why last step, closing your book. How to close in the book? Use closing entry, right? So closing the book, closing entry, that's our last step. In chapter 4, right? Okay. And don't forget, always we need to double check. So last time, the third time double check is post-closing trial balance. This is your third time double check. Okay? So that's a whole accounting cycle we have from chapter 1 to chapter 4, 整个会计的循环。So this is from your chapter 1 to chapter 4, accounting cycle, 会计循环 from chapter 1 to chapter 4. Okay, if you don't have any problem for this, one question. For each step, how often we need to do that for each step? Analyze transaction, recall on 2 accounting books. How often we need to analyze transaction, recording on 2 accounting books? Anyone? Steven? Every day, yeah. Analyze transaction, record the transaction. How often we need to do that? Every day. Why? Because based on which accounting standard, which accounting requirement told you to do that? Accrual basis accounting, 应计基础会计 or cash basis accounting, 现金基础会计. Which one? Ask you. Every time when the transaction occurred, you need to record it. Which one? Accrual basis or cash basis? Accrual basis accounting, 应计基础会计 told you. Every time when transaction happened, you need to record it now. So when transaction happened, every day, right? Transaction, every day the company do any business. So they have many transactions. So you need to record it every day. Okay? How about prepare trial balance? How often we need to prepare trial balance? Jerry? At the end of each accounting period, right? Because double check, we don't double check every day. It's impossible to double check it every day. So we will wait maybe each month, each quarter, each year, we double check it again, okay? So at the end of each period, at the end of each month, we just double check it again, well, once, okay? How often we prepare adjusting entries? How often we prepare how often we prepare adjusted entries? Mean at the end of accounting period, right? Because after the end of each month, after we double check, no problem, then we will record the other 10% transactions, right? So how often? At the end of each period, like at the end of each month, each quarter, each year, we just record the 10% transactions. Okay? How often we prepare our full financial statements? Hi, Leah. At the end of at the end of accounting period, right? But the accounting period could be 1 month, 1 quarter, 1 year, quarterly or yearly, because monthly, 1 month, the time is too short, so we don't have much time to finish our accounting output. Impossible. Because companies' transactions, they have many transactions each day. So how could we finish so many transactions and prepare our financial statements within 1 month? Impossible. So far is impossible to do that. In the future, maybe when the technology, computers, we use that more computers, technology, maybe in the future we could do that. But right now, impossible. That's why we have 4 financial statements only for each quarter or for each year. Okay, so no problem for last step, right? How often we do that? Once for each year, so annually. Any questions? Okay, so that's a whole accounting cycle we have. If you don't have any problems, then we've done the first thing, closing the book. Also, we've done whole accounting cycles. The second thing in chapter 4 is how to correct the error. So it's on your slide here. Slide 64. Slide 64. We told you the second thing in chapter 4. When you make some mistake, how to correct the error. But I decided to skip this part. We will talk about it next week. Based on my experience from Tuesday, we don't have enough time to finish this part today. So I want to go to chapter 5 first. Chapter 5. So please go to chapter 5. If you haven't downloaded the slide, it's on portal already, so you can download it from your portal. Chapter 5, start from chapter 5. We will tell you specific asset, specific liability, specific equity for each chapter. Because we've done accounting cycle already, right? From chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, we've done accounting cycle already. So that's why from chapter 5, 6, 7, 8, so on, each chapter we tell you one asset or one liability. So in chapter 5, we tell you one asset, only for one asset, which is inventory. So chapter 5, we told you one asset, inventory, 存货. So every details how to deal with inventory, 存货, we tell you all those situations, cases we have in chapter 5 and chapter 6. Okay? Chapter 5 and 6 tell you everything about inventory. Okay? So what is inventory? Inventory, 存货. 存货. So what does it mean? Company's products. So when we talk about goods, goods means products, means inventory, means 存货, means 产品. They are the same. So every time when we talk about goods, we talk about products, we talk about inventory, we mean the same thing. Inventory, 存货, 产品. So what's the purpose? When your company, for example, for Apple company, what is Apple's product inventory? Ella, Apple company's product, for example, iPhone, right? So for Apple company, their products inventory is iPhone, iPad, Mac, Apple Watch, AirPods, so on, right? When you go to 7-Eleven, Family Market, what's the product they have? Drinks, cookie, chips, right? So all of these kind of things are their inventory products. But you could think about it. When you have the inventory products, what's your purpose? To keep the inventory products. Why you have the, like for example, Apple company. What is Apple's purpose to have inventory iPhone. They have the iPhone for what? Sale, right? So I have the product, I have the inventory. The only purpose is I'm going to sell it to the customers, right? Okay. So the keyword is what? Sale. So every time when we talk about inventory products, remember there's only for resale. Okay? Resell, so means what? They only want to sell it to customer. Okay? So inventory, the only definition, the only purpose is resale. You don't want to keep it. You want to sell it to customer to earn more revenue, more money back, right? Okay. Inventory is your asset, liability, equity, revenue, expenses, dividends. Which one? Inventory products is your revenue, is your asset, liability, equity, revenue, expenses, dividends. Which one? Assets, right? What's assets? Asset could provide you future economic benefit. So what does it mean? You can get some benefit in the future. So inventory, what kind of benefit you can get? In the future, when I sell it to customers, I will get some cash, right? So you will get some future economic benefit in the future when you sell your inventory to customer. Okay? So that's why it's your assets. Okay? So inventory is our assets. 资产. Why? Because in the future, inventory could help you to get future economic benefit. Right? Future economic benefit, 未来经济效益. Okay? How? When you sell inventory to customers, you will get some money back. Oh, sorry. When sell it to customer, to get cash back, to get the cash. Okay, so that's why that's your assets. And for the assets, here told you is current asset, 流动资产. So what does it mean, current? Current means within 1 year. You will get the benefit within 1 year. We call it current. So current asset, current 流动 means within 1 year. So current usually means within 1 year. within 1 year means current 流动，1年内。Why inventory is current asset? Because how long you expect to sell your inventory? More than 1 year or within 1 year? Within 1 year. Why? Because if you could sell your inventory faster, you will earn more money back, right? So for company, we expect to sell more inventory, to sell inventory quickly, right? Because sell inventory quickly, you will get the cash back faster, right? Of course, we want to do that. So that's why usually your inventory is within 1 year. Like a 7-Eleven, how long they could sell the cookies, drinks every day, right? So how long you can get the money back for 7-Eleven every day? So how faster you can get the future economic benefit within 1 year? That's why inventory usually they are current asset because we expect to get the cash back within 1 year. Okay, so inventory is our current assets. So current assets, okay. For assets, we put it on which financial statement? Which financial statement? Hello. Hello? Not here? Hello, right? Hello from Tuesday class? Okay, hello. Current asset, we put it on which financial statement? Which financial statement tell you asset, liability, equity? Sorry? Balance sheet? Which financial statement? Statement of comprehensive income, balance sheet, statement of change in equity, statement of cash flow. Which one? You could find out assets. Which one? Balance sheet. So if you haven't prepared quiz, please prepare it quickly earlier. Okay, balance sheet told you 3 major items: asset, liability, and equity. So you will find out asset, liability, equity on balance sheet. Okay, so of course inventory is your asset. So you will find out inventory on balance sheet. Okay, any questions? Okay, if you don't have any questions, since we talk about inventory for chapter 5, also we focus on merchandising companies, 买卖业. So in chapter 5 and 6, even though we talk about inventory, we only focus on merchandising company, 买卖业. What does it mean? It means your company buy the inventory, sell the inventory directly. You don't do anything on inventory. You just buy it directly, sell it directly. Let's say, like what? Like a Costco, like a 7-Eleven. They buy the cookies, drinks from other companies, right? After they buy the cookies, drinks from other companies, then they sell it to customers directly. They don't do anything on the cookies, drinks. They don't do that. That's what we call merchandising company, 买卖业. Okay? So they just buy and sell the inventories. They don't do anything on inventory. Okay? We only focus on merchandising company because for companies, actually, they have 3 major different industries. So what else except merchandising company, 买卖业? Merchandising company 买卖业 just as I've mentioned, only buy and sell inventory, right? So what does it mean? You just buy inventory and you sell it inventory directly. You don't do anything on your inventory. But for other kind of companies, like what? Manufacturing company, 制造业. So manufacturing company, 制造业, they will do something on inventory, okay? What kind of things? Productions, 生产. So they will buy the material, put the material into production process, try to produce the product after they sell it to customers, okay? So manufacturing company, they will buy materials, 买材料. After that, put it into production process. So you have production process. After that, you could come out the product, then sell it to customers. So sell your inventory. Okay? So it's quite different. Manufacturing company, you will put the material into production process, then try to produce your inventory. After come out your inventory, then you could sell it to customers. Like what? Like an Apple company. Apple company, when they want to sell iPhone to customers, they need to buy the materials, right? After they purchase the material, they will put it into production process, then come out iPhone. After they produce the iPhone, they will sell it to customers. Okay, so that's what we call manufacturing companies. How about the third one, service company? So service company means what? You only provide service. Okay, so you only provide service. So which one? We don't have inventory. Which one we don't have inventory? Service company, right? Service company, we provide the service. We didn't sell the product to customers. So for service company, we don't have the inventory. Like what? Taxi. For taxi driver, do they have any inventory? No, they just provide a service to you, deliver you to other place. That's it. So they don't have any inventory for taxi driver, right? So service companies, they don't have inventory. Okay, any questions? So for these three kind of companies, we focus on first one, merchandising company, because merchandising company, 买卖业, did you find out the process is more simple than the second one, manufacturing company, 制造业. So right now we only focus on simple one to talk about inventory. So chapter 5 and 6, we focus on merchandising company only because it's more simple comparing to second one. So chapter 5 and chapter 6. In the future, if you are interested in more complicated situations, we have another course to talk about second one, manufacturing company. If you want to learn more complicated situation, so you can choose another course in the future, which we call cost accounting. Another course. 另外一门课 which we called accounting not accounting, sorry, cost accounting. (成本会计) Okay? But either one, when you sell the product to customer, we try to earn the revenue, right? Remember, sell the product to customer, we earn the revenue, which we call sales revenue, okay? So either one, merchandising company, manufacturing company, either one, because we sell the product to customer, so we earn sales revenue. Sales revenue, 销货收入. If you think two words is too long, right? You could use one word, the same, sales. Sales revenue or sales, both of them means the same thing, 销货收入, okay? How about service company? When you provide the service, so you earn service revenue. Okay? Any questions? Okay, if you understand the concept right here, so we want to talk about other things about inventory. Okay, so what are the other things? Remember how to compute net income. How to get the net income? Revenue minus expenses, right? Based on the simple formula we have before. Right now, about chapter 5 and 6, when we talk about inventory, this revenue we call sales revenue or service revenue. Sales revenue, right? Because sell the product to earn sales revenue. How about expenses? Before, when we talk about expenses, we mentioned rent expense, insurance expense, supplies expense, so on, right? Yeah. But here, because when we talk about inventory, we try to classify all the expenses into two groups. These two groups, first group we call cost of goods sold. There's a new term you are going to learn in chapter 5 and 6, okay? Because that's for inventory. So first group we have, which we call it cost of goods sold, 销货成本. Cost of goods sold. This is quite difficult terms for some students. So you should be very careful, pay attention to it, because for some students, it's quite hard to understand it. Cost of goods sold, 销货成本. This is your group 1. Second group, we call it operating expenses. This is second group, 营业费用. Okay, so later on I will explain what does it mean for each group. So later we will spend much time on these two groups. What does it mean for each one? Any questions? If you don't have any questions, then we stop here. Okay, take a break. Before we take a break, before that, wait a moment.